Hello, everybody out there watching on YouTube. Thanks for joining me. I am Gabriel Flores, aka Maybe Lee, bringing to you another wonderful episode that pertains to my personal experiences, thoughts, and ideas, and in addition to some research and stuff that I do, and couple those two things up together and present it to you here. Thanks for joining. I hope you guys have had the opportunity to check out my other episodes. We're on about episode 14 or 15 or something like that right now, so we're getting up there. This is a talk show. There's going to be a finale and stuff like that. Stay tuned for the finale because I got something special for you guys lined up. I can give you a hint on what it is. But I'll just let you guys know just that there is a finale. And when it gets closer, when I get a time frame, I'll give you guys a time frame as well. But I want you guys to start thinking about that because that's basically the heart and soul of this talk show is the finale. So it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be a good thing. I think you guys are going to really like it. Bruce Lee emits my view of a hero because he's talented in more than one area. Bruce Lee is a really awesome figure, and I know that he's dead and stuff now, but I don't see a problem with heroes being dead because they were people at one point in time, and they had a certain impact on the world, and that impact is immortal. People's works are immortal, and so that's why I see it okay to have a hero that's dead because of that. But my idea of a hero is not just somebody who's super talented, but somebody who's a triple threat. For example, I wouldn't necessarily call Bruce Lee a triple threat, but he was talented in multitude areas, which is what gravitated me to him, which is the reason why I picked him as my hero, because I felt like he was a hero. He was a hero. The reason why he was a hero is because I looked up to him, and I wanted to aspire to be just like him. I wanted to be as smart as him. I wanted to be as good as him. And I thought overall he was a good person too. And overall he was a good person. He lived a fairly good life. You don't have very many instances of him causing trouble or red flags. I don't really see any red flags with him, and so that's another thing. He generally is a good person, and so overall that's what made him a hero to me. I still consider him a hero. When I first became a fan of Bruce Lee was when I was younger, way younger, a long time ago, and today I still am. I still view him as a hero, and I still gravitate to his work, and I still try to learn from his work and stuff like that, just by looking it up, reading it, studying it, and stuff like that. So that's how he's a hero. He was an actor. He was a pretty good actor too. If you guys have seen his movies. Um, he does a really good job in them. They're entertaining. They're even when I saw him in the New Age, they were still good. And he filmed them like a long time ago. So, and I was a fan of new stuff, but his old movies, I really was entertained by it. I liked his older movies. And as you guys know, he's a martial artist too. A really successful martial artist. He was basically a martial artist to the stars. Um, Kind of like a chef to the stars. Like when you guys see a chef for the stars, somebody who's a chef but only cooks for the stars, for stars, movie stars, big people. It's not like a chef where you can go to their restaurant that's in the rich part of town. And for him, he was an instructor that taught athletes and movie stars and stuff like that. So it's kind of like the same thing. But my view of a hero is, somebody who possesses more than one talent, and not just possesses the talents, but excels even beyond that. Has some extra flair to it, even beyond being extra talented. But there's something else, some star quality about them as well. And that's my view of a hero. So having more than one talent, I think is I it still holds true today. I think I don't think I'll ever get another hero because it's just too. I wouldn't want to have more than one hero because it's gonna cause a conflict that's not gonna be good for me. You could have more than one hero if you wanted to, and I wouldn't look down on you any less of a person if you had more than one hero. But for me, I stick by just one hero because it's. But I have more than one movie that I like to watch. I have a lot of favorite movies. I don't see a problem with that. But more than one hero, probably not, because the hero is gonna influence your life more than a movie, your favorite movie or something like that. Your hero is gonna influence your actions, your thoughts, and your ideas. Everything about your life is gonna be affected by who your hero is, as opposed to some cool movie that you laugh at on the same spot every single time, and you just keep watching it because it's funny, and you watch other movies because they're funny. But that's just my view of it. But Bruce Lee, he for me he fits the perfect bill for a hero because he stepped out there too, um, in the martial arts world. He dared to go beyond what he was taught and pursue that in his life. And so he was really courageous in that respect. And even people within the kung fu community viewed him as courageous because, and they were inspired by Bruce Lee for doing that, for daring to go outside the known and pursue what he was doing and blazing a trail. He was blazing a trail in the martial arts world. And not everybody can do it because it's dangerous and it's unknown. So you're going to be coming across a lot of things that can interrupt your daily life. That's going to really cause a conflict with the cycle of life, as far as if you have a studio and a martial arts studio, You have to run that day to day. If you're trying to blaze a trail in a new area, you're putting the day to day, your day to day life, the cycle of life at risk. And so not a lot of people can do it, and you have to be courageous to do it. And he was one of those courageous people that did that, and and it paid off too. It paid off for him because today his name still lives on in MMA. If Bruce Lee wouldn't have, MMA might still be here without Bruce Lee, but his name is definitely attached to MMA fighting because that's the his area of study that he was doing as a martial arts person was in the field of MMA. So even though MMA might still be around even without Bruce Lee ever existing, his name for sure is attached to the origins of MMA now, because anybody could have just said, hey, let's start a new league. Let's do it like this, 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 and this. But he was studying an area that highly represented MMA way before MMA ever existed. And, if you guys are more interested about Bruce Lee and his background, I would like you guys to have the same hero as me, which is Bruce Lee. He is amazingly smart and awesome and stuff like that. So if you guys want to check out his more in depth about him, if you guys are curious and you want to see, is this guy really for reals? Is he really multi-talented? How could he be multi-talented? Does he have a good foundation, a good starting point to even be multi-talented as an actor and as a martial artist? Well, a good starting point is Ip Man. Wikipedia has an article on him entitled Ip Man Film from www.en.m.wikipedia.org. And it's a story about this grandmaster, Ip Man, of Wing Chun. He's a grandmaster of Wing Chun and the teacher to Bruce Lee, and is the teacher of Bruce Lee. And the film, is a really interesting film because it also encompasses the time frame of when Ip Man existed, when he really existed on this earth. And that time frame was when Japan invaded China, and in particular the town that he lived in, and they encamped in his town, put his life on the fritz, threw him in the fritz. His life completely crumbled from what it was. And ultimately it got to the point where he was forced to flee his hometown to Hong Kong. It ends kind of good because he's able to open his own studio there and ultimately become the teacher of Bruce Lee. And so it's a really good film to get a good understanding of Bruce Lee's roots and the richness of where it's coming from and stuff. And they didn't just make this movie because he was just Bruce Lee's teacher, but this guy was really talented. He existed a long time ago out there in China. He was well known and stuff like that. He's a grandmaster of Wing Chun, which is a kung fu. It's kung fu, the style of kung fu. And so, Bruce Lee, he didn't disrespect his teacher for going out there and blazing a new trail, because his teacher knows that's where his teacher came from. So he was kind of just following in his teacher's footsteps for blazing a new trail. The only difference is, well, it's really not a difference because his teacher was forced to. He was forced to blaze a new trail by going to Hong Kong and opening a studio. Before then, he never had a studio. So he was blazing a new trail, and he was forced to. Um, Bruce Lee was forced to do it in a different way. His heart forced him to do it. His mind forced him to do it. Where it came from, we don't know, but we do know that he was forced to do it because he did it. So I guess everybody's forced to do everything. So you'd have to look for a different thing. But he did blaze a new trail. He did in what he was doing, because Ip Man wouldn't have blazed a new trail if he just stayed where he was at and continued doing what he was doing and adapting to what happened there. But he blazed a new trail. He opened a studio in Hong Kong. Bruce Lee blazed a trail because he wanted to develop his own style. He started developing his own style of martial arts. So we do know they blazed their own trail, but whether they're forced to do it or not, everything has a starting point. We don't know where it comes from, but so that would have to be looked at further to further understand whether those two are equal, the student and teacher. Until next time, guys, see you later.